Perfectionism is an extremely common behavior that keeps a lot of people stuck, massively contributes to stress, and very much inhibits any fat loss attempts that you might be making. So perfectionism is not the same as having high standards, although a lot of people try and convince themselves that it is. In order to do perfectionism, one of the things that you have to do is you have to constantly ask the question, what else is wrong, or what's not good enough? Ask that over and over and over again. And inevitably you find stuff, and what it means is that it doesn't matter what you achieve, it never feels good enough. You never get that sense of reward or celebration at the end of it. So that's the first problem. But the second problem is that the perfectionist has actually made the method the end itself. They've mistaken the method for the end. So let me explain that using dieting as an example. A diet is a means to an end. The ends might be to achieve a lean, healthy figure or physique, to feel confident and relaxed around food, and to enjoy life and to enjoy the process along the way. That's the outcome. And a diet or a nutrition approach is a means of achieving that particular outcome. But what the perfectionist does is they get obsessed with the method itself, and they make up arbitrary rules as to what the perfect diet looks like, and they try and control every minuscule little detail, and they get obsessed with those details, and if any of those details is off, then they have a new set of rules as to what that means. This means that I'm off track, this means I won't be able to do it, this means that I've got to compensate the next day, this means that I'm a lazy person, or this means that I'm not good enough, or I'm a bad person, and all of these other crappy things that they say to themselves. So first of all, they need to take a much more relaxed approach to food, and they need to learn the art of moderation and flexibility. This is something that the perfectionist has no concept of, is flexibility, because in their minds flexibility means laziness or being off track, and they have no way of being able to get that sense of certainty. They're craving that sense of certainty that I know if I can control all of these tiny little elements, then I'll get what I want. And that approach makes you massively stressed, and it makes you highly neurotic, and it basically creates a high degree of psychological discomfort because you feel deprived and restricted the whole time. Inevitably, your brain is going to push back at some point, and that's going to leak out in behaviors like binge eating, where your brain just goes, sod it all, and let's just get all of the food in that we can, because this feels amazing, because you've been just so restricted and neurotic about stuff along the way. So firstly, they need to learn a much more relaxed approach to food, but secondly, they need to be able to detach. In order to learn flexibility and to learn if you're how to remain on track whilst being flexible, what you need to be able to do is to be able to detach and take a bird's eye view of the last few weeks or few months, and to assess in a very emotion-free way what your results have been like. Is the general trend in the direction that I want to be? Or have I been a little bit too flexible and incorporated too many of my favourite foods over the last few weeks, and that's now starting to reflect in the results that I'm actually getting? If so, you don't need to panic, you don't need to take any extreme knee-jerk reactions, just make an adjustment for the next block of time, and so on and so on and so on. So this is one of the strategies for you to implement in terms of overcoming perfectionism, is to take things in blocks of time where you can apply one particular strategy, be relaxed, be flexible within the strategy that you've set for yourself, and then assess the results you're getting and how you're feeling, your experience of life along the way. And we can apply this to all kinds of other areas, whether it's balancing that difference between being productive and focused and achieving goals and achieving success versus being spontaneous, being playful, and enjoying your life along the way. Those are two things that we need to balance in the same way that we need to balance a predominantly healthy, nutritious meal plan versus some level of indulgence where you get to enjoy some of your favorite flavors and tastes. We need to balance those two things. We need to balance productivity and efficiency with being playful and relaxed and enjoying your life along the way. So this can apply to any area of life. It applies to your work. When somebody is being perfectionist at work and they're constantly asking themselves, what else is wrong? What else is wrong? Then tasks end up taking 5 times longer because they're being so perfectionist about it. They don't get as much work done, and quite often the end result isn't as good as it would have been if they had just purely been focused on the outcome. So make sure that you're being outcome focused instead of getting obsessed with the method and being perfectionist over the method. take a bird's eye aerial view of your general behaviors and trend over the last few weeks, and then assess your productivity in terms of blocks of time. And at the end of a particular block of time, whether it's a 2-week period or a 3 or 4 week period, then you can assess the results that you're getting. Are you on track to your goals? And what your experience is like, how much have you enjoyed it, or how stressful has it been, or how relaxing has it been along the way.